There's an old wise saying, treat a lady like a whore and treat a whore like a lady. Very wise words. Now it sounds contradictory because it hinges on the word to treat. Okay? It depends on what you mean by treating a lady like a whore and treating a whore like a lady. So let me explain. It's very simple. When I say treat a whore like a lady, I mean socially. Okay, because you don't want to be involved romantically or even sexually with a whore. I'm talking about a whore, a skank, a woman of low repute. Okay, you don't want to have anything to do with such a woman. Okay, and do keep in mind, see, a skank, a whore, a woman of low repute, she's not a prostitute. A prostitute is simply a sex worker. And, you know, if you want to engage a prostitute because you don't have anybody around or it's just easier, you know, no problem there. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a low woman, okay? Now, low women, you will meet them. And they are quite obvious. They are slatternly. They are slovenly. They are, frankly, disgusting. Okay? And what you have to do is you have to treat them socially like a lady. That means that when you speak to them politely. You don't use curse words. And no matter what she does, no matter what provocation she inflicts on you, and she will, because see, whores, slatternly women, skanks, women, low women, will eventually try to pull you down to their level, okay? When that happens, when they start like flinging insults and gross obscenities at you, and they will, you refrain from sinking to their level. Always remember George Bernard Shaw's very wise words. See, never get in a fight with a pig because you'll only get dirty and the pig will enjoy it. That goes doubly true for low women, for skanks and whores and such women that you will meet in your life. Never sink to their level. You treat them correctly, socially appropriately, always with refraining from using gross language or obscene language, and you try to get away from them as quickly as you can. I mean, you just assume that they're sort of like dirty, and you want to get away from this dirty thing, okay? Think of the character in Peanuts, you know, Pigpen, right? Pigpen was the little kid who walked around with a cloud of dirt around him, right? What did everybody want to do? Get away from him, right? Exactly. That's how you treat a skank, a whore, socially. Now, of course, this attitude that you have towards a skank of treating her with courtesy and dignity, even though you don't feel that way towards her, well, of course, you act the exact same way with a lady in public, okay? With a lady in public, you treat her with courtesy and dignity and respect. And of course, the difference is that a lady, a woman of quality, not a rich woman, mind you, but a woman of quality, of substance, somebody whom you can respect, well, she will respond to that treatment, that courteous treatment, that treatment of respect and dignity that you show towards her, okay? And this will matter because that lady will look better on you, okay? Now, why is it important, however, to treat socially a skank like a lady? Extremely simple. See, a skank can cause a lot of damage to you in your life. A skank can, like I said, pull you down. A skank can do all kinds of awful things to you. Ruin your reputation, say the most god-awful things about you, and you will be defenseless unless you've created the reputation around yourself of always treating a woman, whether a lady or a skank, exactly the same, with the exact same amount of dignity and respect. If you have created that reputation for yourself in any social situation, every social milieu or social set, it will be very hard for some skank's word alone to pull you down. And that's why you do it. It's a practical matter. It's not that you're, so highfalutin and moral and all the rest of it, and that you respect all women. Fuck that noise, okay? No, it's a matter of practical social utility. If you treat all skanks and whores with the utmost respect and courtesy, but always aloofly, always with a little bit of distance, it will be almost impossible for her to later smear you so long as you have established yourselves in your social milieu. You see what I'm saying? Now, what do I mean when I say that you should treat all ladies like whores? I'm not talking socially. I'm talking in the bedroom, in terms of romance. All ladies, they know their worth. And the fact of the matter is that women, all women, respond better to men who don't treat them like all that and more. Okay? I mean, a lady can be, you know, just very dignified and just a woman that you really want in your life. You really want her to be the mother of your children, right? I mean, of course you do. You want the mother of your children to be a lady, to be a woman of dignity and class, right? But the fact remains, and it will always be true, that women do not respond to a guy who's like a little puppy chasing after them. It's just, no. See? And ladies, most especially in the private realm, when you know, in the romantic setting, right? They respond to a man who sort of like treats them like a slut, like a little sexual plaything. It turns them on, it gets them excited, it makes them bond all the closer to you. I'm sure social scientists and psychologists have figured out why this is so. I personally don't know why, but it is so. It's been my experience. I'm 51 fucking years old. I've seen enough to know this is how it is. And this is how it has always been between men and women. Between men and ladies. They just like it. It turns them on. So my point is, don't swim against the tide. Don't go against their nature. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. This is how ladies are. And they respond that way, and they will be glued and attached to you. And so many men fail with women of quality because they become subservient to them. And no woman, especially a woman of quality, wants a subservient man in her life. She despises that weakness. I mean, she might pretend that it's okay for you to cry and grovel at her feet, and it's okay, and you're equal in relationship and all that crap. But the fact of the matter is, see, the more quality a woman has, the more she will despise weakness, because the greater a woman's quality, the more she wants to be led. She wants to be led by her man, okay? And so if you act all like she's like a delicate little, like a little porcelain vase or something like that might shatter if you're not extra careful. Well, you know, she's just going to get bored with you and look down on you and lose respect for you and eventually leave you. And that's why you have to treat a lady like a whore. Like I said, you know, I didn't invent the game. I just play with the rules that I've been taught, the rules that I've learned, the rules that I have observed over the decades. And this is a rule. Now, what defines a lady and what defines a skank? I mean, these are valid questions. And it's actually very hard to pin down. But with experience, you'll catch on. See, a lady understands that she is not merely a woman, but she is a complement to her man. She understands that her role in life is to create a family. I mean, that's the wonderful thing and the fortunate thing that women have, that they can create a life inside their bodies. And that's a powerful thing, okay? And a lady recognizes her femininity, revels in her femininity, and responds to a man who is masculine. And what does masculinity mean in this regard? It means that he is a man, like I've said countless times before, a man who controls his emotion and uses his reason, his experience, logic, and acquired knowledge to dictate his actions for the betterment of himself and of his family. Because a woman is fundamentally irrational. She is a being ruled by her emotions, which makes sense, of course, because, see, the focus of her life, in evolutionary terms at least, is to take care of children. And what are children? They're just a bundle of feelings, of emotions. They're cold, they're hungry, they're sleepy, they're this, that, the other. And a mother has to be, you know, almost psychically in tune with the child, right? And that's how she can care for the child. And that's why a woman's emotions and feelings and irrationality are more developed than a man's. But a man, see, has to counterbalance that with logic and reason and acquired knowledge, and understand that he has to look out for the family unit, for the woman and the children that the man and the woman have together. A lady understands this intuitively. She might not be able to articulate it, but she understands it, and she wants to be a part of it. You see what I mean? I mean, a lady wants that yin to her yang. You know what I'm saying? I forget actually the Orientals, if it's yin and yang, or which one is the feminine and which one is the masculine, but it doesn't matter. You understand my point. They want, they need, they yearn for that complementary nature between a man and a woman. That is what defines a lady. And what defines a skank? A skank hates men. A skank, a whore, fundamentally resents men because she suspects, correctly, that she will never find the man who can compliment her. She doesn't feel worthy enough. She doesn't feel that she has what it takes to attract the man and hold on to the man who is at her level. Be it true or not, okay? I mean, there are many women who are very attractive, who are very intelligent, who have like a host of qualities, positive qualities, very good qualities, who are skanks, who feel for whatever reason that they cannot hold on to a man at their level. And because they feel this, they perceive it about themselves, they use sex to grab onto a man, and they use drama and cat hall fights and crap like that. I mean, cat house fighting and just to create drama, to create anxiety, to create an environment of chaos, to hold on to a man, right? That's what a skank does. I personally think that skanks are the product of failed fathers. Or let me rephrase that, maybe it's not the failed father, it's rather that the relationship between the skank and her father was a failure. Either because the mother of the skank divorced the father, or the father checked out for some reason. Whatever the reason, see, the union between the skank and her father was broken, and so the skank feels that she is, in a very real sense, unlovable. I think that that's it. Unlovability. That the skank just cannot believe that she can be loved, that she doesn't deserve it because of the broken relationship she had with her father, and so acts out on it with whorish behavior, whorish promiscuous behavior, acts out on it in terms of competitiveness with men, of trying to compete with men in careers and in every little thing, trying to chip away and chisel away at men, ultimately, pulling them down. Yeah, I think that that's basically it. You always want to stay away from skanks. you want nothing to do with skanks. Life is too short. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to interact with skanks, sure. And when you interact with them, you treat them like ladies. You treat them with the utmost respect, the utmost dignity, but always aloof, always at a distance. You never allow yourself to be sucked in by a skank, sucked in by the drama, sucked in by the whorishness, sucked in by whatever it is she's playing on you. You do not allow yourself to be sucked into her vortex because, like I said, she is a pig wallowing in shit. And she will enjoy pulling you down, and you're only going to get dirty.